What if everything you've ever believed about your laziness was a lie? What if those quiet moments when you doubted yourself, those whispers that told you you weren't enough, weren't consistent, weren't motivated, were never rooted in truth? What if they were echoes of an outdated identity? You weren't born without fire. You simply haven't learned how to direct the flame. You are not broken. You are not doomed to procrastinate. You've simply been rehearsing the wrong script. This is not a motivational speech. This is a reset. A hard reset of your internal code, the architecture of your daily operating system. We're not here to make you feel better. We're here to rewire the machine so it executes regardless of feeling. Let's begin at the root. Laziness is not a flaw. It's not a personality trait. It's a misalignment between your identity and your rituals. It's your subconscious saying, "I don't see the point." But what if you could reprogram that signal? What if every time you felt the pull toward inaction, your system defaulted to movement? This is how men like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie operated. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't need permission from their mood. They made execution their identity. Edison failed over 10. 0 times do you think he felt inspired during those failures? Of course not. He didn't rely on feeling. He relied on structure, on belief, on repetition. His failures weren't setbacks. They were code, information, steps in the pattern. You must build the same pattern. Discipline isn't about pushing harder. It's about removing friction. It's about deciding once and for all that action comes before emotion. You don't wait to feel like moving. You move because it's who you are. Say this aloud. I move first. I act regardless. I finish what I start. And now you begin the ritual. Before the world can interrupt you, you command the day. Before your doubts gain volume, you drown them with identity. Every morning, before the sun fully rises, you speak your laws aloud. You don't check your phone, you don't scroll, you initiate. This is how you starve the old self. One hard action before breakfast, not for outcome, for proof. You are not what you say, you are what you repeat. And repetition with emotion becomes law. Let me give you the formula. Discipline, energy plus clarity plus structure. Energy comes from your habits, your sleep, your diet, your breath. Clarity comes from knowing why you're here emotionally, knowing it, feeling it in your chest. Structure is your system. It's what removes debate, what makes action automatic. It's the ritual that kicks in when you don't feel like it. Carnegie understood this. That's why he didn't wait for a wave of productivity. He created tidal forces through schedule, consistency, and direction. You will do the same. You do not build momentum by hoping. You build it by installing triggers. Wake up, speak, move. That's the new order. Every time you act before your feelings speak, you install certainty. Every time you speak identity aloud, you reinforce belief. And every time you complete a task you didn't feel like doing, you chip away at the old name they gave you. You are not lazy. You are a builder. From today forward, speak this law. I do not wait. I do not negotiate. I act because my future demands it. You will build repetition. You will train identity. You will shift from a man who reacts to a man who commands. Do not seek motivation. Seek pattern. Seek process. Build the system that overrides doubt before it whispers. You want change? Then stop describing the man you used to be and start becoming the man you're about to meet. Because the world doesn't respond to potential, it responds to proof. And your proof begins now in ritual, in rhythm, in action that defies emotion. This is your new beginning. Say it aloud. I am not lazy. I am disciplined by design. And repeat that until the man in the mirror aligns with the words you declare. You'll find that repetition becomes rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity. The man who waits to feel ready is a prisoner of emotion. The man who acts before feeling is a builder of worlds. One lives in hesitation. The other forges reality. So here is the charge. Build your discipline not on emotion but on execution, not on passion but on structure. Set the ritual, design the system. Speak your name aloud, and let your subconscious absorb it as law. You rise before the world speaks. You execute before emotion debates. You finish what others fear to start. And every single day you lay a brick not for applause, but for foundation. Because success is not built by the man who moves when it's easy, but by the one who moves when no one is watching. Let the world wonder how you did it. You'll know it wasn't magic. It was ritual. It was law. It was identity installed, one action at a time. Now move. And if you ever find yourself doubting whether this path will work, remember this: doubt is not evidence, it's simply a residue of the old self. You are not obligated to obey the echo of a weaker version of you. You are free to upgrade. You are free to evolve. This is not about perfection, it's about precision. Precision in thought, precision in movement, precision in the words you speak to yourself every morning. You want to know who you are? Look at your rituals. That is your identity in motion. A lazy man wakes up and negotiates. A disciplined man wakes up and commands. He does not argue with his emotions. He issues orders. His subconscious does not question it, obeys. That's who you become now. You no longer speak as a man waiting for momentum. You are the momentum. You no longer describe the old patterns. You destroy them. And in their place you install systems so solid they carry you when your strength fades. So what does that system look like? It begins before sunrise. Before the world can speak, you rise with purpose, you speak your law, you move your body, you write down your wins before they happen. You install certainty before the day can inject chaos. Then you execute. One task, done deeply. One focus block, honored completely. No noise, no compromise, no apology. And when you complete that task not casually, but deliberately, you reinforce your power. You don't just get something done, you reinforce the identity of the man who gets things done. This is your truth now. You don't wait to feel ready, you act because you're ready to lead. Every action is now sacred, every repetition is now law. Every decision builds the man who builds the life. Say it again. I do not wait. I do not ask for permission. I execute. And when the day ends, you don't collapse. You reflect, you review, you prepare. You don't leave tomorrow to chance. You shape it in advance. Because builders don't wing it, builders design. And now you are the architect. Your habits are your blueprint. Your rituals are your tools. Your results are no longer a mystery, they're inevitable. You've installed a new operating system, and now it runs relentlessly. Let's go deeper now, not into strategy, but into structure, into the system that will turn your potential into precision. You see, ambition without direction is noise. It's loud, it's impressive, but it accomplishes nothing. And most men stay there trapped in a cycle of talking big but acting small. They dream vividly, but move vaguely. But not you. Not anymore. You've decided. And now, we move to install the next level of your execution system that removes hesitation and replaces it with inevitability. Because the men who reshape industries, the men who change legacies, don't rely on inspiration, they rely on design. Henry Ford didn't wait to feel ready. He built a factory system that didn't care how he felt. The workers showed up, the machines moved, the cars were built. That's the model. Movement without permission. And now you apply it to yourself. You stop asking, am I motivated? And start asking, is this aligned? If it is, then go. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Act, adjust, refine, but do not wait for clarity to come through emotion. Clarity comes through execution. Say this aloud. I adjust in motion. I build while moving. I refuse to pause for fear. You are not a thinker who occasionally acts. You are a man of movement who occasionally reflects. That is the new hierarchy. Thinking follows action, not the other way around. And if you're serious about killing the old habits, here's your new law. Anything you can do in less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Send the message, make the call, open the laptop, start the set, speak the truth, take the step. This rule is not just about efficiency, it's about rewiring, about closing the gap between thought and action, because in that gap lives the excuse, and when you shrink it, you starve it. This is how your subconscious learns that you are no longer available for delay. Let me give you this. The greatest lie procrastinators tell themselves is that they need more time. No. They need less delay, less fear, less comfort. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you are giving your old identity permission to survive. But you've already declared he's dead. So act like it. You don't owe comfort a thing. You don't owe hesitation another moment. You owe your future proof. And the only proof that matters is movement. Now say this aloud. I destroy excuses with execution. Every time you speak that truth and back it with action, your subconscious rewires. You reinforce identity. You become the man who does. That's the shift. You've already lived the life of the man who waits. You've already met his consequences. Now meet the reward of the man who acts. When you feel hesitation creep in, that's the old self knocking. Don't answer. Instead, act immediately. Say the thing. Move the weight. Open the book. Hit the start button. Don't analyze, initiate. Because motion is not just about results, it's about rhythm. And rhythm builds identity, it builds confidence, it builds consistency. And once consistency becomes your standard, discipline becomes automatic. This is how men are made, not in the moment of clarity, but in the decision to move without it. And now you understand that stillness invites stories. Stories invite fear, and fear invites failure. But action interrupts all three. You want to rewrite your story? Don't narrate it, live it. Don't describe the plan, embody it. Don't wait to be ready, build readiness through movement. This is your new engine. Start it, run it. Let it carry you past every version of you that doubted, hesitated, or delayed. Let's build. Let's go further. The life you want is already waiting on the other side of your delay. Every time you pause, it gets pushed further. Every time you move, it gets pulled closer. This is not about hustle porn. This is about honoring momentum, because momentum compounds. One action builds into the next, and soon you're not pushing anymore, you're pulled. Pulled by the force of identity. Pulled by alignment. Pulled by the inevitability of who you've decided to become. That's why systems matter more than sprints. Because a system doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't check how you feel. It simply executes. And if you install the right system, results become automatic. This is how you make discipline your default. Create a morning system. Wake, hydrate, move, review your vision, and attack. No room for scrolling, no space for distractions. You are not a consumer, you're a creator. Create a focus system. Pomodoro. Deep work blocks, dopamine detoxes, remove friction, reduce inputs, protect your mind like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Create an end-of-day system. Review, reflect, reset. Set your environment for the next day so you wake up already ahead. Success is not created in the morning, it's prepared the night before. This is how professionals think. They don't leave their future to willpower. They engineer it. And you are now a professional of your own destiny. No more amateur patterns, no more renegotiating with your goals, no more hoping that life changes without you changing first. Now repeat this. I don't rise to the level of my goals, I fall to the strength of my systems. And if your systems are weak, you will fall. So build them strong, build them ruthlessly, build them with zero tolerance for excuses. Burn the list of reasons, burn the fallback plans. Burn the belief that you can delay greatness one more day. You've seen what delay does, you've tasted the regret, and now you choose differently. This isn't motivation. This is mechanics. Input, process, output, repeated, refined, relentless. And here's the truth most never accept. Motivation is what starts the engine, but systems are what keep it running. You are no longer a man who waits to feel like it. You are the architect of consistency, the engineer of daily excellence. You've buried the man who waited, who hesitated, who explained. Now rise, move, build, and never look back. The harsh truth is this: if you're waiting for motivation to build your future, you've already delayed it. Success doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who walks even when the path is dark, even when the body is tired, and especially when no one is watching. Stop romanticizing ease. There is no glory in the comfort zone. It's the graveyard of potential. You weren't built for comfort, you were built for greatness. And greatness, by nature, is uncomfortable. It stretches you, cracks you open, and exposes every weakness you've been avoiding. But that's good. You want the discomfort, because inside discomfort is transformation. When you wake up and your first instinct is to scroll stop, that's the habit of a prisoner. And you're building a kingdom. When you feel the urge to quit, go twice as hard. Not because it feels good, but because it changes you. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you rewire your identity. You stop being the version of yourself that tolerates mediocrity, and you start becoming the version that demands excellence. You are not the thoughts that tell you to relax. You are the decision that gets up anyway. No one is coming to push you. You have to be the voice in your own head that says, get up, move, earn it. The greatest lie ever sold was that success is about passion. It's not. It's about commitment, discipline, repetition, doing the work even when you hate it. You think high performers love every second? They don't. They're just willing to suffer in service of their future. That's the game. And if you want to win, you need to fall in love with the boring stuff, the reps, the silence, the sacrifices, the invisible hours that no one applauds. Because that's where your future is being built. Brick by brick, hour by hour, while the world sleeps. You won't always see the progress, that's okay. Keep showing up. Results don't ask for your feelings, they respond to your consistency. So today, choose the path of resistance, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And when you feel alone on that path, remember this: every legend once walked it too, and they kept walking. Now it's your turn. Let me tell you something, no one else will. Your dreams don't care how tired you are. They don't care if you didn't sleep well last night, or if you're overwhelmed, or if life feels unfair. Your dreams are sitting on the other side of your excuses, arms crossed, waiting to see if you'll finally stop talking and start proving. Success doesn't respond to how you feel. It responds to how you act. And most people, they never act long enough to see the reward. They get excited, they sprint for a week, and then they vanish when it gets uncomfortable. But you are different. Or at least, you have to be. You're not building an average life. You're not here to survive. You're here to dominate. You're here to break the cycle of laziness, of fear, of indecision. You're here to become the person your younger self believed in. And that version of you, that highest version, they're not watching Netflix while the sun sets on their potential. They're not waiting for motivation. They are creating it. How? By doing what others refuse to do. By waking up earlier. By staying later. By doing one more rep, one more task, one more moment of focus when the mind wants to drift. That's how you separate. That's how legends are born. Not in spotlight moments, but in the quiet choices when no one's looking. And here's the truth. The world doesn't reward the smartest, it rewards the most relentless. So become relentless. Be so consistent, so obsessed with growth, that giving up becomes impossible. Not because it's easy, but because it would betray everything you've sacrificed. Every morning, ask yourself, will I build today or destroy? Will I step forward or retreat? Because every decision is a vote for the life you want or the one you're stuck in. And if you stack enough votes in the right direction, eventually the gap between you and the life you dream of disappears. But only if you keep going. Don't slow down, don't soften, get sharper, get louder, get more dangerous to your limitations, to your excuses, to your comfort. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be before the world tried to tame you. Reclaim that fire, reclaim that intensity, and walk forward like your future depends on it. Because it does. There will be days when your mind becomes your enemy, whispering lies dressed as logic. It will tell you you're not ready, that you need more time, that now is not the moment, and if you listen, you lose. Because the mind is a mirror of your past, but your actions decide your future. You want freedom? It's earned. You want respect? It's earned. You want to look in the mirror and finally be proud? That too is earned, one brutal, boring, beautiful day at a time. Success isn't lightning, it's the slow burn of commitment. And the only way to light that fire is to suffer for something bigger than your current emotions. So start now. Not tomorrow, not when things calm down. Right now, in the chaos, in the doubt, in the pressure. Because anyone can move when it's easy, but only the elite move when it's hard. You will not be average. You will not be ordinary. That decision has already been made. Now prove it to yourself every single day. Think about this. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you build a habit of betrayal. But every time you keep going, no matter how small the win, you strengthen your identity as someone unstoppable. You are not here by accident. You were born with a fire, and it's time to let it rage. No more hiding. No more waiting for permission. This is your life. Take it, mold it, master it, and if you ever doubt yourself, remember this: you are not behind, you're just getting started. Too often, people misjudge the power of a single choice. They think grand achievements require grand gestures, but the truth, it's the small, uncelebrated decisions, the ones you make alone, without applause, that stack up and shape your destiny. If you're ambitious but lazy, this is your battlefield, and you must learn to conquer it silently. Laziness isn't just a refusal to work. It's a form of resistance, a hesitation to move into discomfort, a subtle denial of your own potential. It cloaks itself in clever justifications. I work better under pressure, or I'll start tomorrow. But behind those excuses hides a truth you're afraid to face. You're letting life slip through your fingers. What if you flipped that narrative? What if, instead of running from discomfort, you ran toward it? What if, instead of negotiating with your excuses, you challenged them fiercely, daily, relentlessly? You don't need motivation, you need momentum. The act of doing creates energy. The discipline of showing up fuels drive. Action first, emotion follows. Don't wait to feel inspired. That's a trap. Do the work and watch inspiration rise like steam from a boiling pot. This is why most people fail. They wait. They wait for the right time, the right energy, the right circumstances. But life rewards the unreasonable. The ones who show up without a guarantee. The ones who say, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it anyway. That mindset, that's what separates the average from the exceptional. If you're lazy but still hungry for greatness, use your laziness strategically. Channel it. Turn it into efficiency. Ask yourself, what's the shortest path to the highest return? And then, walk that path without stopping. Not because it's easy, but because your future demands it. Every moment you hesitate, you reinforce a weaker version of yourself. But every time you act despite fear, doubt, or fatigue, you vote for the person you want to become. And those votes, they compound. Until one day, the scale tips. You become unrecognizable even to yourself. You'll no longer crave motivation. You'll become the storm that generates it. You won't need accountability. Your standards will be self-imposed, non-negotiable, forged in your own fire. But understand, this transformation won't announce itself. It will be quiet. You'll wake up earlier, say no more often, delay gratification, and sharpen your focus not because someone told you to, but because you've tasted what it feels like to align your actions with your potential. And you'll never want to go back. The world doesn't owe you success, but it quietly opens doors for those who walk with conviction. Start walking. Laziness, when undisturbed, becomes a lifestyle. It reshapes your brain, making comfort the default and effort the enemy. Your mind stops exploring, your body stops striving, and your spirit fades into passive existence. You're alive but not awake. To reverse this, You must make discomfort a habit. You must train yourself to do hard things without needing a reward. This is not glamorous. There are no trophies for silent discipline. But over time, your invisible efforts will speak louder than any applause. You will lose friends, not because you changed, but because you dared to grow while they stood still. They'll call you obsessed, intense, too focused. Wear those words like armor. The price of greatness is misunderstanding. And here's the truth. You will feel lazy again. You will lose momentum. You will doubt. This isn't failure. It's a test. Can you continue even when the fire fades? Can you become your own spark? Most won't. Most will fold. But you're not most, or you wouldn't still be listening. So pick something hard, something that scares you, something that demands your full attention, and commit, not casually but completely. Watch how your mind rebels. Good. That means it matters. There's magic in proving your old self wrong. There's strength in denying the impulse to quit. And there's peace, deep, unshakable peace in knowing that when the world went soft, you stayed sharp. This isn't just about goals. It's about becoming someone who refuses to waste their shot at life. You were not born to be ordinary. You were not designed to merely exist. You are here to push, to stretch, to rise. But none of that happens without action. Real action. Not planning. Not dreaming. Doing. So do something today that your future self will celebrate. Not next week, not tomorrow, now. Because if not now, when? If not you, who? And when you finish that first task, don't stop. Use the momentum. Build on it. Stack wins, small ones, daily, ruthlessly. Until you wake up one day and laziness isn't your enemy anymore, it's just a memory. Understand that every distraction is a thief. It steals minutes, then hours, then years. Social media, mindless scrolling, endless notifications, they dilute your focus, weaken your will, and numb your ambition. You become reactive instead of intentional, and intention is everything. You must guard your attention like a fortress. Protect your mornings. Start your days with intention, not interruption. Replace your first scroll with silence. Let your thoughts breathe before the world invades them. That single change can alter your trajectory. Eliminate friction. Lay your clothes out the night before. Plan your meals. Automate what doesn't need thinking. Free your mind to focus on the battle that matters, the war against your lower self. Every system you build is a weapon against chaos. Track your time, not just your tasks. Time is the only currency you can't earn back. Where it goes, your life follows. So watch it, own it, make it count. And when you fall short, because you will, don't self-destruct. Reflect, reset, return. That's the rhythm of champions. Not perfection, but persistence. Not guilt, but growth. Here's the paradox. When you embrace the hard path, life gets easier. When you avoid it, everything becomes harder. Choose your hard. Choose the discipline of effort over the discomfort of regret. The life you want isn't hiding. It's waiting on the other side of decisions you've been postponing. That call, that habit, that apology, that commitment, do it scared, do it tired. Just do it. And remember, the person who refuses to quit will always outlast the person who waits to feel ready. So stop waiting. Begin now. Be relentless. Be unreasonable. Be the exception. This is your call to action, your signal to rise, your chance to rewrite your narrative. Take it. You've come this far, and yet the distance between where you are and where you want to be still haunts you. That gap between potential and reality is where most people quit, but not you. You've learned that ambition without execution is fantasy, that dreams without discipline are just comfortable lies, and you've decided deep down that you will not die full of untapped greatness. Let's go further. Let's talk about the parts you still hide, the inconsistencies, the excuses you justify, the patterns you pretend are harmless but sabotage your every move. That's where the next level lives, in the shadows you avoid. You must confront your comfort. Growth isn't hidden in more knowledge, more plans, or more motivation. It's buried in the discomfort you keep postponing, the conversation you're scared to have, the project you haven't finished, the routine you refuse to fix. Understand this. Every small compromise with mediocrity rewires your identity. You don't just act lazy, you become lazy. You don't just delay action, you become a person who delays. Identity is forged in repetition. So flip the script. Become the type who finishes what they start, the one who keeps promises, especially the silent ones made at 2 a.m. when no one's watching. That version of you exists, but it won't emerge from comfort. It will rise from commitment. Don't just chase success. Become someone who attracts it. That's different. One is external validation, the other is internal transformation. You'll know you're changing when you no longer need applause to stay consistent. And if you're exhausted, good. That means you're in the game. That means you're pushing. That means you're not wasting your life watching others live theirs. Keep going. There's something sacred about the person who persists through silence, through setbacks, through self-doubt. They may be unknown now, but they're unforgettable later. That's you. The world doesn't owe you recognition, but it will remember the results you create. Let your impact speak louder than your insecurity. Let your work echo longer than your worry. This isn't just motivation, it's memory. A memory you'll carry from this moment forward, a line in your life that separates who you were from who you chose to become. You are not finished, you are just getting started, and this right here is your turning point. Don't let temporary emotions craft permanent decisions. Your future deserves more respect than that. You've sacrificed too much to entertain mediocrity now. Raise your standards like your life depends on it, because it does. You think the world is watching? It's not. It only notices after you've crossed the invisible finish lines that others gave up on. So stop begging for attention. Win in silence. Build quietly. Become undeniable. Progress isn't supposed to be comfortable. You weren't built for easy. You were built for impact. That burning inside you, it's not anxiety. It's potential screaming to be set free. Honor it. Don't ignore it. When your mind says, rest, ask if it's really fatigue or fear wearing a mask. Because fear loves to pretend it's logic. Fear loves to whisper, not today. Your job is to say, now or never. There's a price to be paid for greatness. And here's the truth. You're already paying a price. The only question is, are you paying for progress or regret? Both cost energy. Only one gives you power. Breathe through the resistance, laugh at the delay, dance with the uncertainty. Because the ones who thrive aren't the ones who avoid the storm. They're the ones who learn to walk through it with fire in their eyes. Every time you break through, life gets harder. That's the test. That's the filter. Most people want success without resistance. But real success is born in pressure, the kind that reshapes you, the kind that reveals who you truly are. You are not meant to be liked by everyone. You're meant to live fully, speak boldly, act bravely. Watered-down versions of you don't create waves, and you weren't born to go unnoticed. So, stop asking for permission. Start moving like it's already yours. The future doesn't belong to the hesitant. It belongs to the relentless, to the ones who fall, cry, bleed, but never stop. This moment is not random. You're hearing this because a deeper part of you is ready to rise. Don't let the noise of the world drown the whispers of your soul. You know what to do. Do it scared. Do it tired. Do it imperfect. Just do it. From this day forward, every step you take will echo in eternity, not because the world is watching, but because your future self is. Give them something to be proud of. This is where your identity shifts, not with a grand gesture, but with a quiet decision. I will not betray myself anymore. Every skipped workout, every broken promise, every snoozed alarm, it all taught you who you didn't want to be. Use it. Use the pain as fuel. Use the silence as strategy. Use the delay as discipline. Stop waiting for clarity to begin. Action creates clarity. You don't need to know every step. You just need to move. The mirror will lie. The numbers will lie. But your effort will never lie. And it's effort that changes everything. When you master your effort, results stop being a surprise. They become the standard. Show up when it's inconvenient. Create when it's thankless. Push when it's hard. Because those who keep going when it's irrational become the ones who redefine what's possible. You are not average, and the world has enough comfort seekers already. What it needs, what your legacy demands, is someone unreasonable enough to chase greatness anyway. Now breathe, focus, lock in, and take the next step, not because it's easy, but because you said you would. This is your resurrection. Let today mark the line you never cross back over. The old youth, distracted, defeated, deluded Virginie's gone. What stands here now is a force, a commitment, a new standard. No more waiting, no more wishing. It's time to become undeniable.